everyone, welcome to Emily's Bookshelf. Today we're going to go over my second quarterly stats. So for the first quarter, it was quite easy to go over all of my stats. This time I realized my error though, because I can't just go over in second quarter by itself. I have to kind of go over the month by month, and then we can go over the whole 6 month as is. So we're gonna go over the numbers that I ran through and how that all worked out. I have it written down because that's the only way I could hypothetically do this as one quarter, and then we can go over the whole year up to date. For the second quarter, I read 79 books, which came to a total of 18,238 pages. So that was a really good total for page count. I only read 2 books over 500 pages, so I'm at like a total of 6 books over 500 pages. Or is it? We'll check that in a bit. But anyways, I think it's only like 5 or 6 books, which is strange for me, but that's okay. I read 21 nonfiction in the second half, or the second quarter. And of the star ratings, I've written this down, all of it. I had 35 stars. I'm sorry, it's so hot here. I'm sweating and my glasses are fogging up. I don't know what's going on. Anyways, I have 35 stars, 32 4 stars, 15 3 stars, and 2 2 stars. So my 2 stars are still there. For my fast-paced, medium-paced, and slow-paced books for the second quarter, I had 18 fast-paced books, 32 medium-paced books, and 17 slow-paced books. And I have a graph here that I made. I figured out how much the percentages of each. So it's 26.9% of fast-paced books. Then I had 47.8% of medium-paced and 25.4% of slow-paced books for the second quarter. So overall, it's the same. Medium-paced books are like winning, but at the same time, I'm still reading a good amount of the other ones as well. So it's not a big drastic change comparatively. So let's go over each month, and then we can figure out what the whole year has looked like so far. As you can see from the starting off page, up to the end of June, I had read 162 books. I've removed all my July books from this because I'm filming this mid-July, so I'll be adding them after the fact. But up to this point, I have read, according to the year, 37,333 pages. So that's well on my way to the end of this. And so even though it says like 53%, and I'm like a little bit behind, that's as of July 18th. But as of June 30th, that was good. So I am happy with those numbers. And clearly I am ahead of my goal of the 250 pages or 250 books. For the amount read, mysteries are still high. I'm gonna actually move over a bit more so I'm not so in the way. So mysteries were still really high. I still had a very wide range of types of books, like feeling of books. The moods were very varied, and I like them that way. I don't like to read the same thing all the time. So this is where, for the whole time, this is very reflective of how it was in the second quarter. And I feel like this was the same in the first quarter, although the slow is a lot more. So I guess I read a lot more slow books in the first quarter than I thought. So it was 26% fast, 28% slow, and 46% medium for the whole first half of the year. For the amount of pages per books, I have read 108 of the under 300 pages, which doesn't shock me at all since I had read tons of kids books and Bible books, and that's just the way they go. 48 books from 300 to 499 pages. That's a pretty good amount for me because I tend to read a bit smaller, I think, and that's something I'm not ashamed of at all. For the books that are over 500 pages, I've only read 5. So The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue and Gone with the Wind were new additions to this list because the other 3 were there before. So nothing new and dramatic there. 31% of the books I've read were nonfiction, so the number's going down a little bit, but that's okay. I am enjoying what I read, although the number was probably lower due to or before June, and I read tons of nonfiction in June, so really enjoyed that. You'll see that number coming up. The genres so far. Mysteries are still up in the front. Classics are very quickly catching up. And then everything else is really like across the board. Historical, surprisingly, is fast and like upcoming. I think it's because I'm reading a lot of historical mysteries, and I don't tend to read historical fiction typically. I don't know why. I'm just not drawn to it much anymore. And I do enjoy it when I read it, but I just need to like read it more often, I think. So that's the way it is. Then for authors, Anonymous is still up there. Agatha Christie is still up there. Mary Pope Osborne is still up there. Ellen Montgomery is now up there, as I have read 4 of her books this year. I did not get to Anne of Ingleside in June, but I did read it in July, so that will be in the next quarterly update. And for the amount of pages, if you look at this bottom chart of books and pages per this first half, it's really like a whoop-de-whoop. But it's really interesting that they're all kind of in the same range. I was really like on the same level the whole time through. For the star ratings still, I am very low on the 2 stars, which I'm very happy about. 3-star books were not great number, but I'm okay with that because I like to DNF books before I get to that level. So it's not a surprise to me that I have lots of 4 stars and a good amount of 5 stars, 50 amount exactly according to this. So let's get into the month by month. Now the month I have we're going to first look at, obviously, will be April. So in April, I had read 23 books for a total of 5,875 pages. The mood was very mysterious. I don't know why I picked a lot of mysteries, but that's just the way it was, and I was okay with that. Then adventurous and lighthearted. I really enjoyed what I was reading that month. I think it was a good month. We'll get down to the star ratings eventually. Medium and fast-paced, but I definitely read a lot of slow-paced, as it was 30% or 32%. This is the month where I finished Gone with the Wind, and I read Addie LaRue. So this is where the only 2 over 500 pages books. That was hard to say for some reason. Were in my numbers. So that added to the page count, even though I had been reading Gone with the Wind before in March for part of it. So I read 18% nonfiction that month, and my stats aren't that drastic, I would say. They are kind of, I don't know, in the same area, I would venture to guess. So then for the ratings, I had a good amount of 5 stars, 4 stars and 3 stars and a 2-star. And that one was Anne of Winnie Poplars, and that was a disappointment. So for this one so far, I have definitely had a good start of April, and then I had a low and then a good end of April, which is just interesting to me. I like seeing those, I don't know, statistics. Like we've established, I'm nerdy like that, and I know a lot of bookish people are like that. For May, I read 30 books in the 31 days. And this, I read 6,765 pages. I read so much, and I tried not to, but I just ended up doing it. So the moods were very, I don't know, similar, darkish. I don't remember why I read so many dark books. We'll click on that to see what I was reading that was so dark. I read a lot of Gothic books for Mary Shelley May. That is why. Makes sense. But I was reading a lot of more Gothic books, and I enjoyed myself for Mary Shelley May a lot. But yes, so the pace was very fast, or not fast, but medium. And then fast and slow was like equal. As you can see, 23% of each. The page count was 33% of over 300 pages, but still my average of being under. And then 24% of nonfiction. So that was good. I'm not upset with that number going a little higher than the month before. So historical jumped through the roof on this. And I think it's because I was reading so much about Frankenstein and like in the past. Also, I read Mexican Gothic in this month, which is a historical Gothic book. So different things like that. I definitely read a lot more historical fiction or historical based books in that time period. Then I also had the star ratings, which 2 stars, I don't remember which was my 2-star book from that month, but let's just check and see. It might have been is my book club book, which was The Elegance of the Hedgehog. That book should have never been translated from what we've decided at book club. So yes, a lot of 4 stars and a good amount of variety there when it comes to the ratings. So in regards to the way I read, I had a nice amount in the month, I'd say. At the end of the month, I took it a little slower, and I was okay with that. I like being okay with however it goes, and I want to be taking it slow before I entered June. So in June, last month, here we go. 26 books for a total of 5,608 pages. Once again, mysterious, dark. What can I say? I was in a mood. I wanted what I wanted. But I also read a lot more fast books than slow, and I read some medium books. I was reading a lot of Ancients-a-thon books, and this is why it's also dark, because it was like a lot of killing stuff. I read 27% of my books were over 300 pages, and I think that's reflective of Ancients-a-thon because a lot of ancient literature isn't over 300 pages, and that's just fine. I just noticed that as a thing. But 38% of my books were nonfiction, and that is because ancient literature. I definitely was reading a lot of nonfiction that month, and I really enjoyed it. Like I said, it's a good palate cleanser. I think I said that last time for me. It's a really good palate cleanser for me, and I really enjoy having a clean slate to kind of go off of. So, as you can expect, classics went through the roof that month. And then mysteries, religion, because it was all part of Ancients-a-thon. And then poetry, which I normally don't read a lot of, but that was also ancient. Crime, a whole bunch of stuff like that. And then my star ratings, I didn't have any 2 stars, thank goodness. Couple 3 stars, or I think 4 of them, lots of 4 stars and several 5 stars because I really loved certain books. And then this is interesting. The beginning half of the month, barely read a thing, barely touched anything. Second half of the month, I flew through all of the books I was reading. So very interesting and how that worked. The last thing to go over is what I've done for the monthly challenges. So for the book covered book club, I read for April, which is a blue on the cover, Peril at Owl Park, which is the 2nd book in the A.E. Morton series. For May's prompt, which was to have a book cover where someone wasn't looking at you, I read Hazif of Shazar, which was a poetry collection with lots of people who were not looking at you. And then for June, it was to read a book with all of the colors on the rainbow on it, and I read the Book of the City of Ladies, which had all of the colors, and I also read My Bodies in Our Prayer Request, which also had all of the colors. For the Christie 2022 project, I read for April, which was a book featuring adventure. I read The Partners in Crime, which is the 2nd Tommy and Tuppence. Like, it's a short story collection, but I read that one. And then for the 5th one, which is to read a book set in Europe, I read Crooked House. And then for the 6th one, which was a book featuring archaeology, I read Appointment with Death. For the Read Your Bookshelf Challenge, I read for April's prompt, which was to read a book with your initials in the title. I read the Enola Holmes book, which has the Case of the Left-Handed Lady. And then for the May prompt, which was a new to you author, I also read Hazif of Shazar because I had never read his poetry before. And then for the June one, which was to read a book with a book on the cover, I read the Case of the Peculiar Pink Fan, which was another Enola Holmes book. It had a bunch of paper on it, and I counted that as a book. So there's that one. Then I also had for Buzzwordathon. So for Buzzwordathon in April, the prompt was a size word in the title, and I read Henry VIII, King and Tyrant or something like that. It was something along that lines. I don't remember the subtitle, but it had one of those words. And I also read The Little Mermaid, which was by Hans Christian Andersen. And then for the prompt of direction in the title for May, I read North Point Chalet by Deborah Whitesmith. And then for the one of a book with all in the title, I read The Affair, The Affair at the Victory Ball by Agatha Christie, which is a short story collection, or short story, not collection. So the last one is that I catch you up on my series. So for my series, I have finished, and I'm up to date with the Magic Treehouse series. I finished Lost World, which I am very proud of myself about. I have caught up to date with the Tita Rosie series, which I know is only book 2, but I am excited to read book 3 when it comes out later this year. So that's exciting. I've also, I don't know if I was up to date yet, but I have been up to date with the Jane Austen Murder Mystery series. And I have read Up to Date with Molly Murphy series, and I'm not going to continue on in that series, so I'm officially DNFing that series, but I've read 4 books in that. So that is the way I have read all of my books. I am very happy with the progress I've read so far, and I am looking forward to the next quarter, and hopefully it'll be a really fun reading time, just like the last one. So thank you so much for watching. Please let me know down below how you've been reading, and if you do your stats as well. I'd love to go and check out your video if you do. Thank you once again for watching. Please like this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you're new here, and I will talk to you next time. Bye for now.